Welcome back to the second video of the day for the Furlongs and Horses Breeders' Cup series. My name is Rachel and I'm your host. As usual, you can find me at my regular racing blog, furlongdrive.blogspot.com, and at Road to the Cup, which can be found at roadtothecupblog.blogspot.com. My last video was a preview for the Beverly D. Now we're going to move on to the big race of the day, the Arlington Million. This is a mile and a quarter on turf it's a win and you're in for the Breeders' Cup turf. There's a field of 7 entered, so let's go ahead and take a look at them. Number 1 is Hardest Core, and I'm hoping I'm pronouncing his name correctly. Erlus Vaz. I don't. I apologize for mispronouncing his first name, but I think it is Vaz for his last name. Will ride. Edward Graham is his trainer. He's by Hard Spun. I should note before I talk about his races, he is cross-centered into the American State Ledger, which is the longer race. For the males. But it looks like his trainer told the DRF earlier this year, earlier this year. He will be going in the million. As I said, he's by Hard Spun. Won the Cape Henlopen at a mile and a half in his last, and then he won 2 allowance / optional claimers before that. Was second in the Stroll last year, which was his only other stakes try. This is going to be his greatest stakes debut, and he will be part of the early pace. Those who know me know I love Hard Spun. I've said a couple of times on Twitter that the first time I went to Delaware Park was to see Hard Spun. I had basically cut my math class in 2006. I was a freshman at a local community college, and I cut class basically. I did go to class for a little bit though, to see Hard Spun in the Port Penn, which he won. And then, of course, he won the PA Nursery and went on to a great 3-year-old season. But those who know me know I've basically followed Hard Spun throughout his career, starting when he was starting at Darley after his second in the Breeders' Cup Classic up to now. That being said, he has no chance in this race. The distance is not going to be a problem. It's going to be the class of this field. Even though it's not as good as it has been in past years, there are still several nice horses in here. There are some group winners, some greatest stakes winners that I'll talk about in a little bit. But I just feel like he's going to be over his head here. And I think he would be the same in the American State Ledger, but just a little bit worse there even, because the defending champ, Dandino, is in that race. He won the State Ledger last year and is back to defend his title. So I just feel like he will has no chance in here. Hard Spun has some good turf horses, but I just feel like he's not ready for Grade 1 company. Number 2 is Smoking Sun, and Stefan Pasquier will ride for Pascal Berry. He's by Smart Strike, second in the International Cup in Singapore in his last. Earlier this year, he was fourth to Sierras d'Aigle, actually, in France. And then he won the Prix de Harcourt as well earlier this year. Of course, for purposes, I'm going to just say CDA. Of course, he was the horse who gave Franco everything he wanted in his final race, and I will actually be talking about another horse later in this field, I believe. Or maybe not. No, I don't think I will. Oh well. Who had faced Franco, but he didn't. But yeah, Smoking Sun, I believe, will also be part of the early pace with Hardest Core, and so he could be another horse who could set the early pace and then just drop back towards the end of the race. I also saw, I believe it was some from the DRF, a tweet saying that his connections want rain on Saturday for some give in the ground, because not every European horse will like a firm course. Some love the soft going in Europe, so if it does not rain on Saturday, he might be up against it even more. If it rains, he has a chance, from what it sounds like. Number 3 is Magician. Joseph O'Brien will ride for his dad, Aidan O'Brien. He's by Galileo. 6th in the King George and Queen Elizabeth. King George VI to be more exact. And 2nd in the Prince of Wales's, before that, at Royal Ascot. Of course, he won the turf last year at Santa Anita, and he also won the Irish 2000 Guineas. Big chance, as always. He's done well in US before. I think a lot of people were a little bit surprised that he went to the turf last year instead of the mile, but turned out to be a smart move because he won the turf, and who knows what would have happened in the mile against Wise Dan. Big chance, definitely in my top 3, and could end up being in the winner's circle. Number 4 is Finnegan's Wait. Ryan Moore will ride for Dale Romans, and this is the 2nd of the American group. He's by Powers Court. Won the Arlington Handicap in his last, 6th in the Monmouth, and 8th in the Woodford Reserve. Last year he faced Will Take Charge and was also 4th in last year's Arlington Million. And then he was 2nd in the Secretariat in 2012. So, again, another horse who has, like my Beverly D pick, has several races over the surface. I just, unfortunately, I feel like he might be up against it. Just the fact with the final 4 horses, that are in this race. 3 horses who are in this race have, I just feel, better chances to win than he does, plus Magician. So I'm thinking he'll be no better than 5th, but he could surprise me personally and be like 2nd or 3rd, or even win the race. Number 5 is Up with Birds. Enrico da Silva rides for Malcolm Pierce. Canada's 3-year-old champion now and Horse of the Year last year. Won the Nijinsky, was 6th in the Dixie and in the allowance race. Last year he won the Breeders' Stakes, which is the final leg of the Canadian Triple Crown. 2nd in the Queen's Plate, and he also won the Jamaica. So, big race winner in Canada, Grade 1 winner in US. I think he's grade 2 winner in Canada officially, but restricted races he's considered. You could say the Breeders' Stakes is would be a grade 1 race if it was not just restricted to Canadian breds. I don't think I said he was by Stormy Atlantic. I probably did, but I just forgot. I'm sorry, but he's by Stormy Atlantic. Good chance to win. I'm not sure if he can, but we'll just have to see if he can get it done. Number 6 is the defending champ, Real Solution. Javier Castellano rides for Chad Brown, and he's by Kitten's Joy, who won Secretariat. Actually, I should say Finnegan's Wake's Sire Powersport is an Arlington Million winner. No horse has gone back to back. Powersport does not count because he was DQ'd from his first win in 04. Giovanni was close. The Tin Man was close. But they couldn't get it done. He actually got his win last year after finishing second to the Apache, who was then DQ'd for interference. He is coming, though, in better to this year million than he was last year. Second in the Man o' War. After that, he won Manhattan, and in his start before the Man o' War, he was fourth in the months at New Orleans, the fairgrounds. We'll have to see if he becomes the first horse to win the race back to back, and I think he has a very big, serious chance to be able to do that. And last but not least, the old man. He's 7. It's number 7, Side Glance. Jamie Spencer will ride for Andrew Balding. He's by Passing Glance. As I said, he is the oldest horse in the field. 3rd in the million last year. He was 3rd in the UN in his last, 9th in the Queen Anne, and 5th in the International Cup. In 2011, he finished ahead of that year's BC Mile winner, Court Vision, in the Woodbine Mile. That was won by Toulour, who was the stablemate to Wisedan before he passed away last year. Court Vision defeated Goldkova in that year's mile. But getting back to Side Glance, a mile and a quarter might just be the perfect distance for him. Mile's probably too short. Mile and a half's probably not within his winning distance anymore. Mile and a quarter will probably be a great distance for him. He has 2 starts in the U.S. Already. Well, I should say North America. Well, 3 starts in North America, 2 starts in the U.S. But still at 7, he's running well. He has a gelding, which helps. But so we'll just have to see really how well he does. So that is this year's field for the Arlington Million, and I'm just going to go over the horses one more time, which is something I haven't done in the past. Number 1 is Hardest Core. Number 2 is Smoking Sun. Number 3 is Magician. Number 4 is Finnegan's Wake. Number 5 is Up with the Birds, I should say. Number 6 is Real Solution, and number 7 is Side Glance. That is this year's field. So up next will be the picks. So it's now time for my picks. And first, I have Real Solution. I just feel like that he is the horse who's coming into the race the best. Magician, of course, very talented. Finnegan's Wake as well. And Side Glance, Up with the Birds as well. I just feel like it's going to be Real Solutions' race to lose. He's the defending champ. And honestly, I want to see a back to back winner. As I said before, it's never been done before. Even though John Henry is the only horse to have multiple Arlington Millions wins under his belt, he did it in non consecutive years. So I want to see a horse who does it in consecutive years. In second, I have Magician, who is hopefully the return to the U.S. will be helpful and get him back onto the right track and will set him up well for his turf defense. And finally, in third, I have Side Glance. I just feel like he's coming in really well. He's run well in the U.S. and in Canada. And the fact that this is going to be his second race in a row in North America could be helpful. And he's 7 now, so who even knows how much more time he has. This could be his basically could be his final year against top quality horses. And like I did with the Beverly D, I have a dark horse, and that is Up with the Birds. And a big reason why I'm choosing him over Finnegan's Wake is that um, when the Tin Man won, the next year he was coming back for his defense. The winner who ran him down was Jambalaya. And Jambalaya was a Breeder Stakes winner, which is, as I said, the final leg of the Canadian Triple Crown. Of course, as I said before, Up with the Birds won the Breeders' Stakes last year. And the biggest thing I think he has over Finnegan's Wake is the fact that he is a Grade 1 winner, because he won the Jamaica last year. Of course, that is now known as the Belmont Derby. So that's my 3 picks. For the win, I have Real Solution. For the place, I have Magician, Show, Side Glance, and for my dark horse, I have Up with the Birds. So that is it for the Arlington Million. Now, next week, there are several win in your ends. I'm probably only going to have 2 videos. Probably one on the Juddmonte International, which I believe is Wednesday. I'll probably record that Sunday. And then the Ballerina at Saratoga. And the reason why I'm probably only going to have 2 instead of like 2 or 3 is because the big race on next weekend is not a win in your in. It is actually just a regular Grade 1. It's at Saratoga. It's the Travelers. So we're going to see Tunnelist, Wicked Strong, Kid Cruz, maybe Bayern, as I said in the Beverly D video. Of course, the big news this week is that Tom Zirkin, this is going to be his final Travelers, as I've been talking about Saratoga the past couple of times. But he finally has a replacement. It's going to be Larry Colmus. Of course, he currently is the announcer at Churchill. He will be leaving that position in after the fall meet. He is also the announcer at Gulfstream, and he replaced Tom on NBC as the voice of the Triple Crown in the Breeders' Cup. Of course, technically, if you want to say, he replaced Trevor Denman, who is the voice for Santa Anita. He did the Breeders' Cup calls for ESPN and ABC. as they used the track announcer. Although for Churchill, they also used him when Churchill had it in 2006 for Street Senses Juvenile. That was probably one of his worst calls because he missed Street Sense until the end. But then again, that classic was probably one of his best calls as well, as it was Bernardini and Invasor. So that is it for this week. Drama International preview will be up Sunday, but the entire recap episode will be up on Monday. Travelers preview will be up Wednesday. Ballerina preview will be probably up Thursday. I might flip them. I probably will end up flipping them. So much to do. We're getting into really the start of the road to Super Saturday, which is where we're going to have several grade ones in both New York and California, and even in Europe, as they start the march to the Arc, which is, of course, Europe's biggest race. And then after Super Saturday, it's all downhill from there as we get to the juvenile races at New York, and then the Breeders' Cup will be just about a month later after Super Saturday. So I will see everyone on Sunday, maybe more likely Monday, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.